You are now listening to the Team Heel podcast.
Describe what Marcellus Wallace looks like. What? Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker. Say what one more goddamn time. What? He looks like a bitch.
It's still real to me, damn it!
Alright. This is episode number 76 of the TEAMHEEL podcast. I want to thank you all for tuning in this week, whether it be here on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, the TEAMHEEL podcast YouTube channel, or at our affiliates at TRN, the TalkingRasslinNetwork, or if not, on ShoutEngine.com. Whether you're downloading from your tablet, your laptop CPU, or your mobile device, we just simply want to say thank you once again for tuning in. It is Saturday, January the 17th, 2015. I'm HEELSTEVEN.
I'm NonLegitWrestling.
And I am Chase Oliver.
Happy birthday, Chase Oliver.
Yes, happy birthday to me indeed. You guys can leave your nice comments in the comment section down below of whatever you're watching this, or just tweet me at ChaseOliver68. Happy birthday.
And I believe you are turning 18 years old, am I right?
Whoa.
You're a big
Why
boy.
Why does everyone think I'm like young? I'm actually turning 22.
I don't know, it's a compliment though, you think about it.
Yeah, I guess I'm 18.
I'm 24, and people think that, oh, you're 16 or you're 17 or 18. I'm like, no, not really. I'm actually 24. Oh, that's been crazy. I'm like, yeah, I know, but thank you though for the compliment. You know?
Well, at least you still thought I was in high school, even though I talked about college classes and stuff a lot. But thank you though.
Remember though, drink responsibly and, don't be silly, wrap your willy.
Yep, exactly.
Exactly. It's a quote from the movie, I think it was Boys in the Hood. Any man can make a baby, but it takes a real man to raise one. Something like that from that movie. But yeah, guys, this week has been crazy, The good news for me, I got my cavity finally checked out. I am rocking a fake tooth,
Good.
If you will.
Nice.
I'm rocking a fake tooth in the cavity that was fucked up. It's crazy because they lay me down, right? And they put some anesthesia, they numb my cavity, and they had me bite on something, and they made this, what's the word I'm looking for? This imitation tooth, if you will, added some cement. That's what I'm rocking right now.
Yeah, I had that. I have like a couple of those in my molar areas. I have like all four of my molars, like they're freaking big teeth, man. And every time I went there, they made me watch Star Wars. I was like, can I choose a different movie? They're like, no, you gotta watch Star Wars. I'm like, God damn. I watched like the Emperor's, like whatever, which episode 5, the Empire Strikes Back. I can't remember which one it was. But all I know is the one where they're like in the snow. It's like the freaking snow things are chasing each other and stuff like that. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I can imagine. But yeah, man, I'm happy though right now. It still hurts a little bit. Not like it was before. But the doctor was like, oh, the last thing I want to do right now is give you a root canal. I do not want to do that. So I'm going to put a crown, which I have, like I said earlier, I have a crown right now in me right now. It's a temporary one. I'm supposed to go back next week and they're going to see what's the update, if you will. But yeah, that's that for me. And it's still chilly over here, but I'm rocking shorts. Crazy, right? East Coast is cold as fuck, but I'm rocking shorts right now. It is what it is. So yeah, a lot to talk about in wrestling. One of the big news that came out this week is the announcement of the induction of the Macho Man Randy Savage into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2015. Now, it's crazy.
Ooh, yeah, dig it.
Ooh, yeah, dig it, Macho Man. Ooh, yeah, dig it.
Yeah, but Slim Jim,
yeah, Elizabeth, you stay in the house. I got 6 TV dinner for you. Ooh, yeah. On the road. Ooh, yeah. I tried, guys. I'm not the best impersonator. I'm not Jay Lethal, guys, alright?
Black Machismo
with SoCal Val and all that. So yeah, it's funny because the news came out literally hours before Raw was on the air. It's funny because I was at work when the news came out. WWE.com broke the news, so did TMZ, and literally, social media went apeshit when this news came out.
Dude. That was WWE's plan. They were like, "Hey, let's try to spark some interest into Raw this week because not a lot of people are really watching Raw because of Monday Night Football, and then it's like the transition without no football, and then there's also the college football like championship game that was on the same night. So they have to spark some interest into, Monday Night Raw this week. And so they decided, hey, let's introduce Randy Savage into the Hall of Fame. And obviously it helped. I mean, they got a better rating than they normally get from announcing Macho Man into the Hall of Fame. So it was a good move on their part because they were going against some stiff competition that week. They were going against the college football championship, and it was an interesting matchup. You have Oregon taking on Ohio State.
Which, by the way, speaking of Ohio State, congratulations to Ohio State. Our good friend Thrash Maniac 99. His team won, right?
Yeah, the national championship. Yes, it did. Of football.
Exactly. So, yeah, like I was telling you guys, social media went apeshit when this news came out. Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, hell, even Instagram went apeshit. All right, and I knew it was gonna happen. I knew it. I knew it was gonna happen. And again, I'm happy. I'll be very honest with you guys. I'm happy that the Macho Man is actually in the Hall of Fame now. I can't. What about you guys?
Yeah, no, I'm happy that he's in the Hall of Fame. He deserves it. I mean, he's one of the greatest performers of all time. He's one of the more memorable wrestlers of all time. Like people, when you ask them to name you wrestlers, like you're going to get your Hulk Hogan's, The Rocks, and Steve Austin's, but Macho Man always gets brought up randomly. Like people always say, oh, I love Macho Man, those Slim Jim commercials. Like, so Macho Man is remembered by a lot of people, so it's really, really cool that he's finally in the Hall of Fame. It kind of sucks that they couldn't do it sooner. Like, I'll admit, I wish they did it sooner. I'll admit that, but I'm just happy that he's finally there. But I'm not like overly super duper happy where it's like, oh yeah, man, this is the right time, because the right time should have been like in 2005, It's like 2015. That's 10 years later. Then he should have been put into the Hall of Fame. You get what I'm saying? So
I agree.
I kind of wish he was just alive to accept this, and like, kind of like Warrior, how Warrior got to apologize to the company and, be able to give one final hurrah. I wish Macho Man could do the same thing. Like that's just the thing for me as a wrestling fan, especially because after watching what happened with Ultimate Warrior and him being able to get that chance and that opportunity, I wish Macho Man could have been given that chance and opportunity to do the same thing. That's just the thing with me. After watching all those Warrior videos and footages, this past year, I just wish Macho Man had the same opportunity.
I agree 100% with that. And yeah, the whole, was it only at the end of Raw? They made the announcement. Yeah, the Macho's in the Hall of Fame. They played a video package, and they even mentioned that the person to induct the Macho is going to be Hulk Hogan. Now, a lot of people are very, skeptic on Hulk Hogan inducting the Macho Man. And I understand why, due to the fact that both Savage and Hogan had beef, or they still have beef, and, they never made up. Again, we will never know because we weren't there.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, I agree with a lot of people that Hulk Hogan should not be the one to induct the Macho Man. But I understand why they're doing it. I understand why WWE decided to have the Hulk Hogan induct the Macho Man. You think about it, Randy Savage's big feud in WWE was Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, that's a feud everyone remembers.
Granted, yes, you can make the argument, what about Ricky Steamboat, WrestleMania 3 for the Intercontinental title?
Not even close. Not even close. Here's the thing. Ricky Steamboat and Randy Savage goes down as one of the best WrestleMania matches of all time. But when it comes down to the mega powers, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Macho Man Randy Savage does not even touch how awesome the mega powers was. And anyone that was growing up during the time of the mega powers can definitely agree with that. Unless you're one of those guys that was like, oh, I liked NWA back in the day, and I like more of how Ric Flair wrestled. Then yeah, you probably liked Ricky the Dragon taking on Randy Savage at WrestleMania 3. But the Mega Powers was a huge deal. They're still talking about today as one of the best tag teams ever.
Of course, absolutely. Literally one of the big feuds of the late 80s for WWE. Macho Man and Hogan. And again, I understand from that perspective. Now, if it was up to me, who should be the one inducting the Macho Man, and I agree with everyone when they say this, it should be Lanny Poffo, formerly known as a Genius. That I do agree with. Alright? Now, this is my thoughts overall, okay? Yes, Hulk Hogan will induct the Macho Man. But, Lanny Poffo will be the recipient of the award. So yeah, it's not like, Lanny Poffo is not going to be there, because fuck, he is going to be there. Why would he not be there? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He's going to receive the award. He's going to give a speech. And I think that speech is going to mean more than Hogan inducting the Macho Man. Because let's be honest here, right? When we watch the WWE Hall of Fame, throughout all the years that we've watched the Hall of Fame, what matters more? The speech from the person inducting the soon-to-be Hall of Famer, or the Hall of Famer's speech? Which is
the Hall of Famer speech.
Exactly. I'll give you a perfect example. Those of you wondering, gee, guys, what the hell are you talking about? Well, last year's Hall of Fame, right? Jake the Snake Roberts went in, right? And DDP inducted Jake the Snake Roberts. Yes, DDP gave a speech that we all, was cool, but we all remember more Jake the Snake Roberts' emotional speech in the Hall of Fame, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Just like Ultimate Warrior, rest in peace, last year, Lyndon McMahon inducted the Ultimate Warrior, but we remember more Warrior's emotional speech as well, more than Lyndon McMahon's speech. But pretty much what I'm saying, whoever's inducting, a Hall of Famer, doesn't matter what they say. All that matters is the person's speech who's going into the Hall of Fame. If you get what I'm saying. I know it's a tongue twister, but that's my thoughts on that.
Yeah, and to be honest here, I think Hulk Hogan has matured a lot from where he was in the past. Like before, you would listen to a Hogan interview and you'd be like, "Oh my God, Hogan, stop feeding so much bullshit." But now it feels like Hogan even accepts the fact that he made up bullshit lies. Okay, he will say in interviews like, "Oh, I just made that up. That was never true," or he will like kind of tell the true story behind it. Like I feel Hogan's more truthful. Like from watching the interviews that he's been doing on the the WWE Monday Night War show on the WWE Network, or the recent Talk is Jericho interview, or any other radio interview he's been doing, I just feel Hogan has just been a little bit more truthful, and he's just been a better and more secure person than he was back then. So I feel like Hogan will actually give a truthful speech. And from what my knowledge is, from like hearing interviews, he has no beef with Macho Man. He didn't even realize there was a beef. Like Hogan seems like one of those guys that's really laid back and doesn't really give a crap about what people are saying about him. That type of deal. Now, at least now. Back then, probably not. But at least now, he's more laid back. And so when it comes down to it, I think Hogan's going to do fine inducting the Macho Man Randy Savage. I think so. So now, mind you, we don't know who else is going to be inducted. So we're wondering. I hope this year we see the British Bulldog. I hope we see. Yeah, keep hoping. That British Bulldog won't go in until like what? Doesn't the wife have to give up like privileges or whatever?
I think that's Martha. I think that's for Owen Hart.
That's Owen Hart's wife?
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, also Owen Hart, I'd love to see him in the Hall of Fame as well. Who wouldn't, right? Ravishing Rick Rude.
Rick Rude needs to be in the Hall of Fame.
Exactly.
He would be a good, follow, like a second guy. Like, Randy Savage is obviously the lead dude this year, but you have Rick Rude be the second guy. That'd be good.
Exactly. I agree with that too. But we gotta see what happens, guys. We gotta see what happens. But I'm excited for this. I think, Savage deserves it. I think Jericho said it, in an interview, that Randy Savage going into the Hall of Fame legitimizes the WWE Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it does.
And I do agree with that 100%.
More prestige to the Hall of Fame.
Because, the Hall of Fame, because it used to get a lot of scrutiny, and now, finally, the WWE is saying, you know what, screw it. We're going to induct the people who deserve to be in. Like, last year, they made a huge statement. Like, they put Scott Hall, who no one thought was ever going to get good grades in WWE, but they put Razor Ramon in the Hall of Fame. They put Jake the Snake in the Hall of Fame. Like, everyone said, oh, hell no, Jake is going to show up there drunk. There's no way he's going to come into the Hall of Fame. But he made it to the Hall of Fame. And then the Ultimate Warrior, the dude that, has the rumor that he put a gun to Vince's head to get his money at that SummerSlam show, that dude made the Hall of Fame. And even Carlito's dad, what's his name?
Carlos Colon.
Yeah, Carlos Colon, who has a big history of screwing over the McMahons. that dude made it to the Hall of Fame. So the WWE is showing that they are more forgiving than they have been in the past, and they realize, look, we know what people are saying, that our Hall of Fame is a joke. When Sonny's making the Hall of Fame before these guys, where we know we have to change this Hall of Fame and make it a little bit better and make it more feel honored and prestigious, you know?
Drew Carey and Mr. T and his mama.
Yeah, like, okay, Mr. T, I agree that he should be in the Hall of Fame, mainly because he was a big factor for the first 2 WrestleManias, especially WrestleMania 1. But Drew Carey did not deserve to be in the WWE Hall of Fame at all.
Oh,
all that did was run away from Kane.
Exactly.
Oh, shit, that was dumb.
I read reports this week that apparently WWE might be considering going to TV14. Now, I don't believe that will happen. In all honesty, I don't see it happening.
Even if they do, it's not going to change. Like, I don't get why fans think the TV rating is a big deal. Like, did you guys not watch WWE around 2002 through 2000, 7 and 8? They were TV 14 back then, and they still weren't good. Like, around 2005, they were still TV 14, and they were writing TV 14 stuff, and it wasn't good television. So I don't get why people think it's like, oh, we need to change the rating. That will help it. No, it won't, because they still have the same people that are writing these damn shows. Morons. I'm thinking that just because they change the TV rating, it's good.
And you gotta remember too, guys.
Exactly.
You gotta remember too, guys, that WWE has a lot of partnerships with Mattel and Nickelodeon, I understand as well, and all these other stuff, Kmart as well, that they have to stick to the PG product. They have to stick PG. Whether you are like it or not, Make-A-Wish, Susan G. Komen. So you got Walmart, all these other deals that pushes more for the children. And again,
not just for the children, but it pushes more for like a company. It pushes more for a company, makes a company more marketable because you want to promote the show that is TV PG than the show that is TV 14 because it makes it feel like, oh, anyone can watch this show because it's labeled TV PG. It means it's a family friendly type show. But there is a way to have PG shows feel like they're TV 14. Many TV shows do it nowadays on TV. Exactly.
Absolutely. I also heard reports also that the Izod Center might get shut down. Well, it is going to get shut down. That's all I'm talking about. But so SummerSlam is screwed because originally SummerSlam was supposed to be at the Izod Center, formerly known as the Continental Airlines Arena, formerly known as the Meadowlands Arena. And it's sad when you think about it. The Izod Center has history. Being that I live in Jersey, I can relate. I've gone to that venue numerous times. For mostly wrestling events, like WWE, I went there numerous times. And it's sad to hear that it's going to get shut down. It really is. Now the question is, where will SummerSlam 2015 be?
Come back to LA, baby.
Oh, hell no.
I feel like you're going to go back.
Let me finish my pitch, okay? The St. Louis Rams are thinking of building like a stadium or something here so they can have the football team. Hell, if not, freaking have SummerSlam at the Rose Bowl. For me personally, SummerSlam should always be outdoors. And especially if you're going to do it in LA every year, and the whole pitch about LA is that we're always sunny and bright, which believe me, we are, but we have those days where it can get cloudy and stormy. But the thing is, if you're going to pitch that you're in LA and you're going to have the show in LA, give the fans a reason why you do it by hosting SummerSlam outside because, we have the Rose Bowl, we have Dodger Stadium, we have Angel Stadium. We have all these stadiums that you can use and that are tailgate friendly, that are fan friendly, and that are family friendly for you to use. So I think if you're gonna move arenas, don't move it to some small place or some big city that won't give you a good reaction. Move it back to LA, but say, you know what? Let's host it inside of a fucking stadium. That's not really that big. That can fit like 12,000 people. That's why I say the Rose Bowl.
Absolutely. But then again, I agree. It should be put in a stadium. Yes, it should be.
Or at least somewhere outdoors,
I agree. Has to be a stadium or outdoors. Because again, you think about it, SummerSlam is WWE's WrestleMania of the summer. Or if not, the second biggest show of the year. And again, for the last couple of years, SummerSlam has always felt the same. Not just because it's in LA, no offense, But the scenario is treated, it has the same setup of Raw and a SmackDown.
Most pay-per-view setups are like
yeah,
that.
but then again, it's SummerSlam we're talking about. Can you imagine if WrestleMania had the same setup of literally Raw and SmackDown? Can you imagine that?
That'd be terrible. I'm kind of a bit off topic, but I'm kind of interested in what the setup's going to look like for Santa Clara. Like, what are you going to fucking have there? That's going to be weird. And like, Santa Clara is not a big city for anyone who lives in California. And now I'm going to get a bunch of Santa Clara fans being like, you don't live here, asshole, and get mad at me. But yeah, no, but yeah, like you need to have SummerSlam outside for me because it's like, what do people do during the summertime? What is the main talk about summertime? Like, especially if you're on the West Coast or at least somewhere near an ocean. Talk about going to the beach. Even like you guys in New York and stuff, you guys mostly spend your time, hopefully, outside during the summertime and hanging out with friends and going out and stuff like that. Like, the summertime is basically the outside time. That's when people go outside, have fun, have parties and stuff like that, barbecues. Like, in fact, half the time, most of the WWE, they do promote, like, barbecues during these SummerSlams. They always have, like, pictures of, like, the superstars barbecuing or, you know, like, oh, the Divas are on the beach or something like that for SummerSlam commercials. So why don't you make that atmosphere in a reality and have them wrestle outside? And you don't need that stupid roof on top of these guys' heads. I mean, the only superstars that would have to fear that are Paige and Sheamus because they're so pale that they might sunburn. But other than that, everyone's fine.
Exactly.
Just put some sunscreen on.
Absolutely. But again, you know, if it was up to me, again, I would consider really bringing it to the Garden.
Yeah.
Even though I know it's expensive. People are saying also, oh, what about the Barclays Center? But the thing about the Barclays Center is this, you know, every Raw, when they come to New York as of late, it goes to the Barclays Center. This is a special event, SummerSlam. You know, you can't make it seem like any other ordinary show. And by taking it to the Barclays Center, it feels that way, for me at least. You know, even if they were to bring it to the Prudential Center, which is in Newark, literally 20 minutes from where I live at, 20 minutes, you know, on a train, but still, you know, that's my opinion, of course.
I don't think it should have been the Izod Center to begin with.
I said it should have been MetLife.
Like, why, out of all the arenas in the tri-state area, why is it the Izod Center?
Yeah, no, like, because they were promoting this. I thought they were going to be in Brooklyn because they were promoting it, like, the way they were promoting it, like, I was like, oh, shoot, they're going to be in Brooklyn. They're going to use the Barclays. And then all of a sudden it was like, no, it's the New Jersey. It's like, it's kind of like how they promoted WrestleMania 29. Yeah. They tried to say it was New York when it was really New Jersey the whole time.
Yeah. Just so you guys know, this podcast being brought to you and sponsored by still absolutely no one. So if any of you guys want to sponsor us, or if you want us to promote something for you guys, whether it be a YouTube channel, a Facebook page, or anything like that, please let us know here on Twitter account at TEAMHEEL Podcast, or simply on email at TEAMHEELGutcheckPodcast at 3@gmail.com, and, you know, we'll see what we can do. Just want to put that out there, you know. But, you know, shit is about to get real. We talk about Raw when we're 23 minutes into this podcast. But, yeah, Raw this past Monday. I'll be very honest, guys. I missed the first hour. I normally do anyway, because I am not about to sit there for 3 hours and watch Raw.
Yeah, I didn't watch Raw live. I watched it via after the college football championship game. And most of the time, I fast forward through it, but I knew what was kind of going on just based off watching it fast forward. And that's sad when I know what's going on when I'm watching fast forward. I'm like, oh, look, they're going to possibly feud. Oh, yeah, they are.
Exactly. What we're going to do, though, is talk about the main points of the show. All right? Yeah, we know Cena lost to Rollins in a lumberjack match where if he would have won, he would have gotten Ziggler, Ryback, and Rowan's jobs back, but he didn't win, which is good, because again, you know, Rollins beating Cena, even though, yes, the lumberjacks were all heels, but, you know, let's be honest, when someone beats Cena, isn't that always a good thing?
Yeah, it shows that Cena can kind of lose sometimes.
Exactly. He's
hook or by crook.
He's human. Come on now. He's human. He's not this Superman force that everyone puts him out to be.
He kind of is, though. As we'll talk about later on.
Chase, your boy Cockfist did this wacky promo on the Big Show where he referenced Jack and the Beanstalk.
This upsets me, Steven. This upsets me so much because I don't know. Whenever I like someone in the WWE, it's always like the WWE's trying to tell me, don't like this motherfucker. In fact, you're supposed to hate him right now. But I fight that urge of hate by saying, no, I'm going to stand my ground and still like him. They do it with Ryback, by turning them heel. And they do it with Orton, like, on numerous times. Like, Randy Orton always gets dicked over by the WWE. One podcast even, we'll talk about all the dick overs that Randy Orton has suffered in the WWE. Like, just in case if Randy Orton wins the Rumble, I'm saying this right now, people, on the TEAMHEEL podcast, we're going to talk about why it's okay that Randy Orton won the 2015 Royal Rumble because the WWE has dicked around with this guy for so long. But enough of that. Now they're dicking with my boy Cockfist. And it upsets me. Why is it that this guy has to be a goofball character? Okay, I get it. He's related to The Rock. He has the same type of voice and diction like The Rock does. He kind of looks like him a bit. But why do you have to give him these corny comedy, promos? Okay, see, The Rock would have delivered all the promos that Roman Reigns has been doing, and he would have done it 10 times better. Here's the thing with Roman Reigns. He does not know how to flip and speak. Let's just face it. I'm going to be real here. My boy Cockfist does not know how to speak on that microphone. It's like he's petrified by that damn thing. He looks at it, he's like, no, I do not want to pick it up. And so he's afraid of picking up that microphone. And when he picks it up, bad things happen to this dude. You make this dude just so unlikable, and you make people not want to give a shit what he is doing. That's the thing. I hate it because it's like, they're not even giving him cool promos where it's like, Big Show, I'm gonna punch you in the face. Believe that. They're making them talk about supper and succotash and Jack and the Giant Beanstalk. Far, far away, little Roman Reigns had bunch of beans. Like, what the heck?
What's next?
Why are they making such a dominant presence?
What's gonna be next week? The Three Little Pigs and the Big Bad
Little
Wolf?
Pigs, or freaking Jack and Jill went up the hill.
A little, Little Red Roman went down.
Little Red Roman was going through the woods and Superman punched everyone. Like, what the heck? This guy should not be cutting these type of promos. This guy does not need to be funny to be the face of the WWE. Just because John Cena somehow is apparently to you guys, the face of the WWE because he cuts crappy jokes, does not mean every face of the WWE needs to be have some comedic aspect to them. You know what I'm saying? It's like they always need their top guys to have some form of comedy with them. They did it with Austin. They did it with The Rock. They did it with Hogan. They said they had some funny moments, but here's the thing. Hogan had some just generally funny moments. It didn't feel forced when Hogan would say something funny. Same with Stone Cold Steve Austin. It didn't feel freaking forced. Same with The Rock. It didn't feel forced. But when Cena and Roman do it, it just feels so forced, and you can tell it's scripted. It just upsets me because this guy looks like a Terminator, looks like a Force, and he looks like he's like a freaking giant little kid having fun in the ring for no reason. He just looks dumb. So it pisses me off, man. My boy Cockfist. I hope the WWE writers say, you know what, we messed up with them. Let's not have him cut promos. Let's just have him look like a Terminator. That would work so much better for him. But sadly, I think they're going to be on this course, and it's going to be terrible when Cockfist and Paul Heyman have to cut promos because I can't stand all the fat jokes that Roman Reigns is going to pull out of his ass. He's going to pull all these terrible fat jokes. They're just going to be so bad. And then pull all these stupid Biff jokes, then bully jokes at Brock Lesnar. It's going to be bad.
I can imagine now. What you looking at, butthead?
Exactly.
Hey, McFly! Is anybody home, McFly?
Don't you see that happening though?
I can
don't
see
you
it,
see
yeah.
that?
I mean, the only way I'd let the fat joke slide.
I'll send you Back to the Future with a Superman punch. Believe that. Oh no.
The only way I guess I'd let the fat joke slide if you still had Vicky Guerrero.
Yeah.
There, just so he can make those jokes at. If not, bring back Big Dick Johnson for all we fucking care. You know what I mean?
Didn't he recently do a shoot interview? I heard that he did a shoot interview.
Who, Big Dick Johnson? Did he really?
Yeah. I don't know. He's a former WWE writer, too.
I heard about that, too. Yeah, I heard about that. But yeah, I mean, I think also you think of Roman, you look at Roman Reigns, the problem is this. The people in writing, they give him these scripts, and you make him sound so fucking robotic.
Mm-hmm.
it's times where I just wish where he just spoke out the cuff. Like, he's good when he's out the cuff. He's amazing. You know what I mean? But the problem is you make him sound robotic with these scripts that literally just make him sound so stupid, you know?
Yeah, you don't make him sound like he's Roman Reigns. Like I'm just saying right now, do you think if I went up to Roman Reigns, he would tell me about Jack and the Giant Beanstalk? No, Roman Reigns would be like, hey man, want to get a beer? Want to go kick some ass? Like, that type of deal. Want to have a good night? Like, Roman Reigns would not be like saying supper and succotash to me if I went up to him in the normal conversation. That's the thing. Like, he just feels so fake when giving these promos. Like, he's not like a real character. Like, this is not a real caricature. Exactly. Like, this is supposed to be the reality era for the WWE. But this feels like your fake characters that you like to give us for no reasons. Like, there's nothing to relate to about this guy. Like, what is there to relate about Roman Reigns? That's the problem with John Cena that they don't seem to understand yet. It's like, we can't relate to John Cena in any facet, way, or imagination. And now you're giving Roman Reigns these types of promos. We can't relate to this guy. We can't relate to him whatsoever, and it sucks.
I can agree. I mean, I'm a fan of Cena's, and believe it or not, when I'm watching Total Divas with the woman. Like, if you watch Total Divas, I know a lot of us male demographic don't watch it. However, I said it before, I've said it on Facebook. The only time I'll ever watch Total Divas is I'm with a woman. Right? And the time that I've watched it with a woman, John Cena comes off to be an asshole. If you watch it, you notice that, right?
Yeah.
If you watch the YouTube clip, that's what I'm a fan of. Of that Johnson. Give me that guy.
Yeah, no, I think like the only thing I see of Total Divas is like literally the YouTube clip. Like, I used to like the show back in season 1, but now it's just become so fake to me. Like, the writing is very, very fake now. Like, you can read that, like most of these divas and superstars can't act worth a damn. We all know that.
Absolutely.
And so the writing has even shown it even more. Like, these superstars and divas can't act worth a damn. And, John Cena on Total Divas is like the best character. Like, if I record Total Divas, I literally fast forward through most of it just to see what John Cena is doing on my television. And then I press play and then I see John Cena and the way he interacts. And it's like, how come this Cena cannot be on my WWE TV? Because I'll become more of a fan. Like, I used to be a huge Cena fan, not so much anymore. But this Total Divas Cena, this asshole Cena that I see on my television that talks like a freaking businessman all the time was on my television set. I would love that. Like, with that clip where he was telling Nikki Bella he was going to give her like a beehive for beating his ass at a competition. Like,
exactly. That
was hilarious. I was like, this guy's such an asshole.
That's the heel. I mean, hey, you want to see a heel turn? When Cena said the night after Mania 29 on Raw, hey, you want to see a heel turn? Watch Total Divas then. Just watch his parts. Just watch his parts. But let's see what happens with Roman Reigns. Again, he's supposed to be the future of the company. He's supposed to, be the one to, slay the beast of Brock Lesnar. Right? But if he's gonna go on this route, then I don't think I want to see it right now.
Yeah. And I'm a huge fan of Cockfist, and I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him like this.
I can tell, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who don't know right now, Chase Oliver on Skype right now that we're recording this right now. His Skype picture is literally Roman Reigns cocking a fist. Yes, Chase Oliver, you are officially the #1 Roman Reigns fan.
I love this guy. This guy's awesome, and it just sucks that he's just being fed like a bunch of bullshit to try like. And the sad part is like he's trying to make this bullshit sound good. That's the sad part of it all, is that like he's trying. You
can
so
just
hard.
tell he's like, fuck, yo, I hate this shit right now. Really?
Yeah, like he's trying his best because he doesn't want to get totally buried by the WWE politics and the way the WWE system is. But even him himself is saying, shit, I don't know how to deliver this at all.
For a fact though, but literally in 2 years from now, once he's already a 6-time WWE champion, he's like, fuck no, I ain't doing this shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
See, that's the thing. That's the thing that I know of Roman Reigns for sure, is that I don't think that he will buy, like, he's a guy that will do anything the company's going to tell him to do, but I don't think he's like Cena level. Like, I don't think he's like the John Cena level of
He will be.
kissing. No, like what I'm saying is like promo wise and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think he will be a little bit more like, no, that's a dumb promo.
Yeah, but backstage though, yeah, he's gonna do
He's going to do the politicking, of course. Anyone who doesn't do that when they're on top is stupid.
What? No, I ain't doing this. What?
Yeah, you gotta do it, man. It's all
Or it's
about
like,
being over.
he's gonna tell writers, but am I going over though?
Am I going over that?
No, you're not.
Yeah.
Go to the script, rip the page, do it over. I can see it happening,
Do
guys.
script over.
Watch, guys.
Now.
Okay, listen. I said earlier in this podcast by 2 years from now he'll be a 6-time WWE champion. No, more like by next year.
No.
6 times, damn.
Okay. Decent.
Kind of a bunch of 1 month title reigns.
4-time, a 4-time or 3-time by next year time.
Like on this
Sounds
date.
fair.
Maybe 2 years from now on this
I
date.
say 2-time if anything.
2-time WWE champion. He'll win that Mania and then he'll lose that SummerSlam, gain it back at Survivor Series, some shit like that. You know what I mean?
Short ass title reign.
Hey,
Or they'll probably have like another free network day and he'll win it back at like Hell in a Cell.
there you go. There you go. Roman Reigns. I can see it now. WrestleMania 31. Roman Reigns wins the title. Michael Cole on the commentary. March 29th, 2015. The night Roman Reigns arrived.
The Roman Empire has begun.
You see it rain in the bitch, like see it raining crap, like Okada rain, like just imagine that, you know?
What the fuck?
Hey, speaking of New Japan, it turns out that New Japan has officially landed on US TV.
Oh, wow, really?
On Access TV.
Oh shit! I have that channel.
I think what they're doing is they're gonna play some of the old matches from back in the day on the channel, pretty much. So to my understanding, who's doing the commentary, I think it's Mauro Ranallo and Boss Rutan.
Oh no!
I know it's Mauro. I know it's Mauro.
No, I'm just saying, like, Mauro knows his wrestling. Does Boss Rutan know anything?
I mean, if you,
I'm just wondering, does he know anything?
He'll follow his lead, I guess. I mean, Boss I think Boss did Pancrease, so I mean.
But that's not professional wrestling.
I mean, I know, but we'll see. I could be wrong, though. I could be wrong. I mean, it could be Michael Chiavello, for all we know, and more. I think that.
Yeah, that's fine.
You see, 2 guys on commentary who will do a better job than Michael Cole, JBL, and Booker T.
Oh god,
that team sucks, man.
Commentary is terrible in the WWE. It's really bad.
And again, it doesn't matter who they put in. It doesn't matter. Because you're going to have Vince McMahon in their ear yelling at them, telling them what to say.
You better do this. You better plug my network.
Better plug the network, plug the app, bury the Ascension, talk about his hairstyle, do this, ha 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 ha.
That's sports entertainment.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm out of touch, right? Yeah, okay. Also, Daniel Bryan, got in the ring and he announced that he's ready for the Rumble. He's gonna fight, he's gonna win, he's gonna do it again, right? I'm gonna do it again! And he got interrupted by Triple H, who announced that he'll not be debuting at the Royal Rumble, but instead he'll be making his debut on SmackDown and move to Thursday night, which already happened literally yesterday, when he faces, Corporate Kane.
Oh god.
And I saw the whole thing. I didn't watch all of SmackDown, I just watched certain parts of it. The match ended in a DQ.
And isn't it going to lead to the Raw reunion show next week? It's Bryan versus Kane, and if Bryan loses, he's no longer in the Rumble type of deal?
I think it's on SmackDown. I think it's on SmackDown.
Okay, I thought it was a Raw reunion that they're going to have that match.
But then again, you never know with WWE. Who knows, right?
They'll probably change that shit.
They probably will change it, yeah. But then after that, what happened, they made it into a 6-person tag. It was Ambrose, Bryan, and Reigns versus Big Show, I think Rollins, and Corporate Kane.
God dang. Why is Kane still wrestling?
I don't know.
Big Show.
like I told some kid in my class, like, one of my professors is actually a huge wrestling fan. And so, we talked wrestling for 5 minutes in the first day of class. Then the next day, I was talking to this one kid He's like, yeah, I used to watch wrestling. Like, I know some of the names. Those people are still wrestling? I'm like, yeah. And I named them, like, Kane and Big Show were still wrestling. And he just started laughing his ass off that they were still going around. Like he's like, how is Kane still wrestling? What is he doing? And I'm like, well, now he wears, like, a corporation suit. He's like, no.
Yeah, he wrestles in slacks and he wears some church shoes. And yeah. And by the way, guys, that mask he wore, the hair is a wig, actually, guys. It's not his real hair, just so you guys know.
Yeah, it's not real. Come on, guys. You should know that by now.
Yeah. But you never, hey, bro, these people thought that hair was real.
Really?
You'd be surprised, bro. One of my cousins who used to watch wrestling back in the day, he thought that hair was real.
Nope.
He thought that crap was real. No, it's a weave, bro. That guy wears a weave. Kane wears a weave, guy. You never knew that? Well, guys, you learn something new every day here on the TEAMHEEL podcast. Kane used to wear a weave. Hashtag Kane wears a weave. Let's get that trending on Raw.
Yeah, but now back onto Daniel Bryan. It's good that they got him a promo segment. You know, you kind of like left it open-ended, like at the end of the year of 2014. Like he was saying he was back to the Rumble. And a lot of fans were wondering, like, oh, so what was that? That's it? We're going to have to wait until the Rumble? But they're kind of giving the fans what they want, like, which is more Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
So they're going to give him, they gave him a good segment with Stephanie. You know, Stephanie and Bryan have good mic.
Oh, Stephanie, my bad. There you go. It's Stephanie, my bad. Sorry.
Yeah.
Triple H.
Stephanie and Bryan have good mic work with each other. Like, they normally do well bouncing back off of each other. So that was a good segment. Kane versus Daniel Bryan's like any Kane versus Daniel Bryan match you could possibly see. So I'm just interested to kind of see where they're going to head with this storyline. Because honestly, like, I wasn't really that huge of a fan of the Authority versus Daniel Bryan storyline, just because Triple H was kind of getting annoying on the microphone for me.
Yeah.
And I just felt the storyline just kept on dragging on forever and ever and ever. And I hope it doesn't drag on for too long. Like, I hope the Authority can find someone new to kind of pick on, which I think they're going to try to do with Garbage Man, Dolph Ziggler, and Sheamus. Not Sheamus. Ryback.
The big guy.
Which they're trying to do with those three guys, which is really overthinking it for the WWE standards, but maybe they will do that because, like, it's like if Daniel Bryan's a character the whole time, he's just supposed to be picked on by the Authority. It's just going to get very, very stale. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, Austin did it with McMahon. Well, that's totally different. McMahon and Austin would have their fucking breaks. Like, sometimes McMahon would even align with Austin to do shit. It wasn't like McMahon was always trying to get rid of Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like, they had their breaks. And if I have to go through another year of Triple H being like, you're a B-plus player, Brian.
And for the record, guys, on the SmackDown show, in the main event, the 6-person tag, Bryan pinned Kane. So that should tell you something, at least, you know?
He's gonna
Big Show's more important than Kane. That's what it's telling me.
Yep, indeed it is. Authority. I'll always remember that, you know, when Cena brought back the Authority, you have Big Show putting his hands up, Authority, like a little kid.
Oh my God, that guy's.
Yeah.
And then we had the final again, we're not going to cover all of Raw, because again...
Yeah, you guys literally don't need to hear us cover, like, are you guys really dying to know what happened during that Naomi and Alicia Fox match?
No.
Because I'm not ready to talk about that. All the developments of Paige slapping Tyson Kidd, shit. What about the Rosebuds and the Bunny? Like, you guys don't need to hear all that garbage.
Or if not, of the Ascension beating up another jabroni tag team. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
They're better than the Road.
Hey, there you go, guys. We talked about it for you.
Final segment, we had Lesnar, Rollins, Cena contract signing. I'll say this, Seth Rollins has really showed us, yo, this guy has a future being a heel. And I said it before early when Rollins, you know, turned his back on the Shield, that eventually the big payoff for him is to be a babyface. And I think, like, he really showed, like, this guy can get a good promo. You know, cause for years, for a while, you know, people were always shitting on Rollins. Oh, the guy can't cut a good promo. Even his days back in Ring of Honor when he was Tyler Black.
Oh yeah, he was really bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, cause that was the one thing about me. Like, I used to be really, really against Seth Rollins. Like, I did not like him. I just said he's another ring guy. He's like Dolph Ziggler pretty much. People are just going to overrate him because he can put on that 5-star match. Oh. But, like, pretty much, that's what I thought he was going to be. But ever since turning on the Shield, I made a video on this and I said each month this dude keeps getting better and better and better. And he shows it every single month. And I became a fan of this guy. And this shows that I can become fans of wrestlers if they show total improvement. Because Seth Rollins at first just thought he was just another ring guy. Now I can see him as the future of the WWE, or a big time player, at least for this company. And this guy really killed it in this contract signing. Like, they made an emphasis to say, hey, Brock, you're already over. Cena, you're already over. You guys don't need to really have this segment. This is for Seth Rollins to get him over. And one of the things about this segment, it made me totally forget that he was Mr. Money in the Bank, and it made me totally forget, like, normally I would poon over this segment and say, how stupid is this? Seth Rollins is Mr. Money in the Bank, and he didn't cash in when he had his opportunity. But they did such a great job of how they structured this segment that it was like, oh my God, I didn't even think about that. I just said, wow, what an enjoyable segment, and what a great way to make Seth Rollins look like a legit beast against John Cena and Brock Lesnar. I mean, I wish they would consistently book him like this, where he didn't need help from Jamie Noble and Joey Mercury all the time to win matches. But shoot, they did a great job with this segment. I mean, they made Seth Rollins into a legit heel, because you know this guy was being treated like a big deal when Brock Lesnar had to grab the microphone and freaking cut a terrible promo against him. You know that's a big deal when the beast has to speak. That made it a big deal to me, because like Brock Lesnar never really speaks. I mean, it's more the reason because he can't really talk, but it's just like the fact that the beast spoke instead of the advocate Paul Heyman, it just kind of made it feel like a bigger deal. And even Cena cut a freaking good promo on this one. I was like, it wasn't some like, oh, I'm going to poop on your face promo. It was like, I'm going to kick your ass, I'm going to kick his ass, and that's what we're going to do at the Royal Rumble. Sign it, bitch. Like, perfect. That's what I want to see more of John Cena. John Cena actually taking shit seriously and not trying to make stupid jokes with it. Like, this was just an overall great, enjoyable promo on a bad episode of Raw.
Exactly. And then to wrap it all up, Lesnar said, Rollins, you'll be the future when I say it's time for the future, and ended up with Rollins curb stomping both, Cena and Brock. And Brock sold the fuck out of that curb stomp.
Yeah.
They're finally taking Seth Rollins a little bit more serious.
Now,
that's always a good thing.
Like I said before last week, I don't see him winning at the Rumble.
It'll be we'll talk about that next week when we get into Rumble predictions.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'll go more in detail about it, but I just think it's idiotic if he doesn't win at the Rumble for many reasons.
There you go.
It's his time to shine.
Indeed. Yeah, I would love to see it happen. I really would. But if it was up to me, I'd do it at Mania. Have him cash in at Mania.
That'd be cool too.
Exactly. But that was Raw, guys. That was Raw. And again, not the best Raws. Then again, Raw hasn't been great in a long time.
Yeah.
But enough about
It'll get better, probably.
I'll say thing about this episode is at least it was trying its best to develop their characters, unlike most episodes of Raw. Like, we didn't really talk about Dean Ambrose all that much, but Ambrose didn't really do much besides lose another match.
And he played a psychiatrist backstage. So
yeah, they kind of add more to Dean Ambrose, that he is kind of crazy, and they made him kind of like a legit badass that he stepped up against Rusev. That was pretty cool, I would say.
There you go. So there you go, guys. That's Raw for this weekend. Let's talk about Impact. Before we get into the review, I want to make, a couple of things I want to get out there regarding TNA. Last week, myself and Knowledge of Wrestling attended the TNA tapings from New York City. Overall, we had a fun time, right, Knowledge of Wrestling?
Yeah, it was pretty enjoyable.
I'll say this, though. I'm sure you might agree with me as well. I think the tapings from the summer were better.
Yeah, because it was the first time we were there.
Exactly. But then again, an enjoyable time at the Grand Ballroom, the Manhattan Center. We bumped into Sam Roberts.
Oh my god.
Funny thing. I mean, we didn't say hi to him. He was on a different side of the venue. I marked out inside. Oh my god, it's Sam Roberts.
Yeah, I didn't believe it at first.
You can
but
tell.
Then I got to see that face view. I'm like,
yeah, you can tell by his afro, his little fro he has on top.
I know. Some people have that too. So I'm like,
I was like, if you guys ever watched the episode of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when William Shatner appeared on the show, And Carlton was like, William Shatner. That was literally me. It was Sam Roberts. But, it's funny. What happened?
I said, what's the hap?
Yeah, what's that? Yeah, exactly. And it's crazy because we get there, right? And apparently there are people who got free tickets, and this lady was like, some guy at our job gave us these tickets. Hey, come to a wrestling show. It's free. And she was like, I thought it was WWE. I'm like, no, it's TNA. Oh, what's that? It's like, I'm like, wow.
That's funny that you should say that, because at the movie theater I work at, we always have the sports channels on, and actually a commercial Impact on Destination America was showing, and some dude's like, man, dude, the WWE looks totally different. And I'm like, oh no, that's a different promotion. He's like, oh, for real? So once again, TNA, their brand identity still is non-existent.
I mean, again, for hardcore fans, they'll know what TNA, but the casual fans,
casual fans don't know. That's the that's the only reason why WWE is still around, is because they still somehow have a casual fan base. Exactly.
You know what I mean? But nonetheless, being there at the Grand Ballroom was a fun time. Being there live was great. The experience and all of that. The one knock I'll give it was dark. It was hella dark. I don't know what it is. Maybe their direction, maybe it's Destination America and how they want the show to be set up, where they want to just focus on the wrestling, just the ring, like boxing. You know how boxing, they'll have
they're trying to focus it's like Crocodile Hunter show, this is the wild animal that we're trying to catch.
Exactly. You know what I mean? That's what it's like. Or it's like when the UFC, right, whenever they do their intros for the main event at the MGM Grand, they'll turn off the whole lights and they'll just dim the octagon, whatever, like that almost, to an extent. But yeah, fun time, like I said. Just thought that the tapings in New York were better in the summer. Again, that's our opinion. Alright, if you were there.
Better talent, I think, too.
Exactly. So, this week's Impact, overall, again, it was fun. Enjoyable for what it was. Not the best episode in the world, if you will.
Yeah, TNA is good at pulling out those, standard decent shows where you're not really pissed off, but you're not really that was a great wrestling experience. You're like, I didn't feel like I wasted 2 hours of my life.
I'll say this, though. It's easy to sit through a 2-hour Impact than to watch 3 hours of Raw.
Oh, yeah.
That's the edge I'll give TNA till this day. Even on a new network, they have they give them the upper hand against Raw. But before we get into the review, a report came out this week that TNA tried to sign Edge to be the authority figure, the director of operations, since Kurt Angle is now an active member on the roster. This is my problem again. They're trying to get these former WWE guys to sign with TNA. And I said it before, I'll say it again. If I'm running TNA, the one thing I'll do is stop trying to bring in these former WWE guys. Cause again, TNA, they don't need former WWE guys.
No. They need more of their own guys. And if you're TNA and you're trying to stand out on your own, why the fuck do you need a GM and director of operations? Do you not realize one of the main reasons why the WWE is suffering is because the authority are just so unbearable to watch on television? Say to yourself, you know what? Let's be different. Let's be the brand that's full of anarchy and chaos. Let's have this inmates run the asylum, that type of deal. Just be different. You don't need no officiator guy there.
Exactly.
Seriously, Kurt Angle on the first night of Destination America was all like, you know what? Screw it. Just let them brawl.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Is that what you really need to hire Edge for? Is just to have him do those type of corny stuff? And what does an Edge really bring to your product? He's not going to ever wrestle again. It's not like you're bringing him back, saying, hey, you know what? We'll get you one or two matches out of you. This guy is completely done in the ring. Completely done. And you don't want to try to get a lawsuit put on you, because remember, Edge put a lawsuit on WWE because he wasn't expecting the segment to be so harsh, that on his neck. Apparently that was a very harsh segment to be held down by the Big Show. What a pussy you are, Edge. But anyways,
exactly.
You don't want that. You don't want that to happen to you, TNA. You don't want it where you're like, hey, Edge, do this and that, and all of a sudden it gets a little bit too rough, especially against guys out there that are very stiff. Kurt Angle. If you tell him oh, put an ankle lock on Edge, he's gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna actually put the real thing on him. Exactly. Sell it.
Low key. Can you imagine Edge and Low Key? And Low Key just stiffs the fuck out of him.
I don't even want to talk about Low Key right now. That dude's just
yeah. So yeah, the show kicks off with the BDC, the Beatdown Clan.
Garbage name.
Yeah. Again, this is my problem. We get another heel faction in TNA.
Yeah, like that's the problem. It's like they can't last a full calendar year without bringing in a heel faction. Like they always need at least.
So we
one.
go from and again, it's not knocking on TNA.
Heel factions in the main event, like World Elite, like the Jobber heel faction, they at least need one heel faction running around causing drama.
Like, think about it. We go from the Kings of Wrestling, I guess, Jeff Jarrett, Scott Hall, and Kevin Nash, right? To my understanding, the main event Mafia.
Don't forget about the Asylum days, Russo's Boys or whatever. It's
Russo's Boys, the Kings of Wrestling, the main event Mafia,
Team
Canada.
Jarrett's Planet Jarrett, Christian's Coalition,
Angle Alliance,
the Angle Alliance,
Fortune, Immortal, Ace and Eights, you kind of get the idea.
World Elite. You get that. It's too much.
And again, we're not knocking, just the fact that, I just wish they can go, like you said, a calendar year without a heel faction.
They always need at least one running around doing nothing.
And it's always the same thing. It's always the same, we're taking over the company, but whatever. So they're in the ring, they talk about, who they are pretty much. MVP takes jab at New York and all of that. Eric Young comes out and he's rocking a new haircut, literally like Bobby Roode. Literally rocking the Bobby Roode haircut. And he says, why he turned his back on Bobby Roode, because you know what? When Bobby Roode won the world title, he never returned the favor. When Eric was in the hospital, Bobby Roode was never there to see him. Only got a text message, pretty much being a crybaby, let's face it here, okay? It kind of show you guys, listen, in pro wrestling, always keep your best friends close. Alright? Because they're bound to turn on you. Remember that.
Oh, God. Why is Eric Young?
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I can't take Eric Young serious. I can't take, he's a good worker, don't get me wrong. But I can't take him serious as a heel. I just can't.
Yeah. He was good. He was good when he was World Elite, Eric Young, but like I said, that was a jobber heel faction.
Perfect example I'm talking about when he was in the band.
I like World Elite more than the band, but okay.
Yeah, exactly. So then we had Kurt Angle versus Samoa Joe, which we were there for. Again, we were there for this match. Again, it was a good match for what it was to kick off the show. But the problem is this, alright? These two guys have gone at it numerous times.
Yeah.
So it's like when you watch them go at it numerous times, there's no more originality. Like, you know what to expect already from these two guys, alright? Don't get me wrong, they still have good chemistry in the ring, but it's like you've seen it before, you know what to expect. There's nothing they can do that could wow you now in 2015. If this was 06, 07, hell, even 08 to an extent, then fine, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But that's that,
It was a little bit shorter than most of their matches too. Like it kind of felt like like they tried to put a 30-minute match in 7 minutes, which is impossible.
Absolutely,
Yeah, pretty much. It was short.
But yeah, Samoa Joe got the win here, But there you go.
Yay.
Put the heel on him.
Yeah, the heel hit on him, Again, throughout the show, they try to get heat on these guys on the BDC. So I understand that. We had Hardy versus the Wolves, number one contenders match. Again, a good match too, but I've seen this already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, nothing, I get it. It's a new network. I understand that. But it's like, we've seen this already before. Matter of fact, the last time we were in New York for TNA taping, this was one of the headliners at Destination X.
Yeah, we've seen it twice live.
I thought that match was a little more better than this. But the difference here is the Hardys win. And yeah, for the record, speaking of the Hardys, the bump that was being talked about on the internet that Jeff Hardy took, apparently it was a scheduled bump. Like, he was supposed to take that bump, and apparently what they're gonna do is they're gonna try to write him off TV since they're going to the UK and Hardy can't travel to England.
Wow.
Every year is the same thing. What's next year? What, is he gonna get run over by a car?
Yeah, exactly. Like, It's sad that he had to go through such a rough past and he can't wrestle in England anymore, because I'm pretty sure Jeff Hardy is really big in England. Like, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of England kids that do the Jeff Hardy hump whenever they get the chance.
Exactly.
But like, didn't, like, I know this sounds weird to bring up, but didn't a kid in the UK like jumped off his apartment roof with like grocery bags thinking it was a parachute because he was emulating Jeff Hardy?
I think so. That could be funny though.
So.
But,
I know it's terrible that I'm laughing at it.
I know.
It's just such a weird story. But yeah, it sucks that Jeff Hardy can't wrestle in the UK. But my problem with this is, like, I wish the Wolves could have gone over there, because I kind of want to see, I kind of want to see more of the whole Revolution trying to recruit Davey Richards storyline and see if that would actually go somewhere type of deal. But it just feels like the TNA is trying to get more viewers, and they feel like having the Revolution take on the Hardy Boys at Lockdown is that route, which I totally disagree with, but hey, it is.
I got a feeling that the Hardy will win the titles, though. Calling it now. By the end of the year, the Hardys will be TNA Tag Team Champs at least one time.
Yeah, I don't want to see that.
Eric Young versus Bobby Roode, no DQ match. Bobby Roode calling out Eric Young for this match. And this match, I'll be honest, wasn't the best no DQ match. Cause again, you can't just have just a hardcore match just by chairs. You know what I'm saying? If I'm thinking no DQ, I want more than just the chair shots. You know what I'm saying? The sequence at the end was good. Eric Young pile drive Bobby Roode on a chair. Bobby just hold the fuck out of it. And there you go. Eric Young went. Again, they're giving this crew, heat.
Yeah. It's just like, but like, it's like the same TNA booking. It's like, why did the no DQ match have to happen now? Why couldn't you wait until then? And why did these two have to wrestle now? Why couldn't you just have it where they
at a lockdown
out the arena, and then Eric Young pile drives him on top of the entrance ramp, and that just shows Eric Young is now more vicious, that type of deal.
Brooke and Taryn versus the Beautiful People.
Oh, I'm not talking about
short
this.
match. The short match. The BPs win. Let's put it that way, right? There you go. Low Key versus Austin Aries, a rematch for the X Division title.
Fuck this. No,
a short match. I'll be honest. When I was at the show, I was at the concession stand buying me the brown bag special, so I didn't get to watch it live. I watched it on TV this time. And again, a short match. I don't agree with the switch change. Cause again, you're showing that your title's a hot potato. It's bad enough the WWE does it with the IC title. But
I didn't know Austin Aries was a 6-time X Division champ. Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this was just dumb on so many levels. I hope that the X Division title is actually going to go on someone younger this time around. They're actually going to say, hey, you know what? Prince Puma, here's the X Division title.
One knock I'll give the show, another knock I'll give it is the fact that, okay, you hear Josh Matthews and Taz on commentary calling the action. Then out of nowhere they put this camera angle where they're in Nashville. Or they're in some lobby, yo, how weird is this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's bad, but then again, I dig it to an extent. They're trying to be realistic. Just fine. Alright? And then
but back to Loki real quick. It's just, this guy's the most selfish human being I've ever heard of in my life. This dude won't stay in a company unless he's a champion or a part of a big feud. It's really, Austin Aries is fine as X Division champion, especially if you're on a new network, and the fact that you guys actually somehow re-signed this guy when it seemed like this dude was out of the company. Now all of a sudden, you just make him lose the belt like that? What the hell?
Then final segment of the show, MVP and the whole BDC, they're out in the rain, they're waiting for Lashley to come out, and they say, Lashley, we made you, and this and that, and Lashley got on the mic and said, no, this belt's for me, not for everybody else. And, Bobby Lashley called MVP Hassan his real government name, which I didn't even know that was his government name. I thought it was Montel, right? And at the end, they started brawling, and, that's how they end the show, with Lashley just laying there, and MVP takes the world title away from him, pretty much. That's how they end the show. Again, Impact, an okay show.
Yeah,
fun to an extent. Hopefully they get a good rating. For you who don't know, TNA, they had a half-page advertisement on USA Today. So that's big in a way. That's big,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they want to get that back on face.
No, but think about it though. USA Today. Get advertised on USA Today, the newspaper. That's big. You know,
But,
something that Spike would never do. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but let's talk about Lashley real quick. Like, this dude was like their best heel, and now all of a sudden he's like their babyface. Like,
he's a babyface.
I don't know.
He just turned babyface after being like their babyface Bobby Roode. Like that's the problem with this. Like, because you knew that they were going to probably do like an MVP and Lashley feud down the line. Like that was the whole plan. Because every babyface back then was like, Lashley, can't you see that these guys are just using you? Like they would always go out there and say that to Lashley, and then Kenny King would jump them. But it's like, why does Lashley need to be world champion for this? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm a huge Bobby Lashley fan. Love this dude. This dude's awesome. But does he really need to be the world champion for all this? Like, what I'm trying to say is MVP versus Lashley really, really the match that people want to see? That's all I put out there.
I agree.
No,
I agree. But that's Impact for you guys. Now, before we wrap up the show, let's get into the new content that we're doing, the pay-per-view retro recap. Pretty much how it's going to work is following. Throughout the week, we're going to ask you guys what pay-per-view you want us to recap. Whether it be from WWF/WWE, WCW, ECW, hell, even the TNA pay-per-view from back in the day. We'll review it, and there you go. And this week, we got a request by our good friend, David Rivera, known as the Fort Minor Project. That is to recap Royal Rumble 2008. It's kind of fitting too, because it's January Rumble month, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Overall, yes, 2008 Rumble from New York City at Madison Square Garden. In my opinion, this was a good show. Probably, in my opinion, probably one of the best Garden shows that WWE had a pay-per-view in.
Hey, right? let's not throw Survivor Series 2200 bus here now.
No, but from that period, though.
From the PGR period, yeah.
Exactly. I believe it was the first show that was HD.
Yep.
The first show that introduced Mike Adamle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Jeff
Mike Adamle.
They edited his botch on the network.
Yeah, Jeff Harvey. Yeah, they did. Again, the network is not. It's lies, bro. It's lies. Supposed to be uncensored, but it's not.
No,
right?
It's not.
Fucking liars. But it is what it is here. So yeah, the Rumble 08. The first match kicked off with Ric Flair versus MVP. Where if Flair were to lose, this is what they were doing at the time. If Flair were to lose a match, he had to retire, right? And overall, I thought this was a fun little match. Didn't go too long. Again, the crowd was going apeshit for Flair. That's the Garden, New York City. I find it kind of funny though when Flair would chop MVP and he was just trying to sell it. You gotta think about it too. Flair at the time was kind of old. I'm not saying that he's old now, but at his age, trying to throw a chop and you're to sell it, and mind you, MVP's to wear like this
Power Rangers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so how could that hurt him? You know what I mean? It's not like not like your shirt. You know what I mean? But I just found that funny. But yeah, Flair won with the
this was a good match and a good storyline to follow suit. Like, I like that storyline, and anytime Ric Flair lost a match, he was fired because it wasn't like he was facing bums. They would actually put legit guys against him that you could actually believe, this guy could actually beat him. And, we all knew MVP wasn't going to beat him. But MVP did a good job at selling the fact, he could have won that match.
Yeah, indeed. After we had JBL versus Chris Jericho. It was a singles match. It went under 10 minutes. A short match. There was a blood spot. That's the fun part about this. Back in the day, they would allow blood. And chair shots to the head. And yeah, ended in a DQ when Jericho chair shot at JBL, and then he tried to choke him with the rope. So there you go. It is what it is, right?
This is probably the worst match on the card, but that's not a bad thing to say sometimes. This was actually a pretty solid brawl between these two. Not the most traditional Jericho match you're going to see, but it's more of Jericho fitting to JBL's style of work. And fitting the feud that they're trying to do because, most recently, Jericho returned and he faced Orton at Armageddon, and then JBL cost him the championship at that pay-per-view. So it's it started from there, and they did a really good job building up to the feud. The feud never had a proper ending. I think it just ended randomly at No Way Out inside of the chamber type of deal. but nonetheless, I felt like they did a good enough job telling the story of this match to kind of warrant, like, hey, these two got each other.
Yeah, JBL telling Jericho, oh, your kids think you're a quitter, you're a coward, and all. I remember that too. After we had Edge versus Rey Mysterio for the world title. It's a great match, yeah, fun match. The time where, Edge and Vicky Guerrero falling in love and all that, and, again, just a fun match,
Over for Edge.
Me too. Yeah, they were over for Edge, yeah, absolutely. Over for Edge.
Yeah.
At the time, I'm like, yo, I was like, Adam Copeland, Edge, please come back.
Yeah, because
at time I really do. I wish he just came back.
I'm glad it retired.
To an extent too, but
I'm not the biggest Edge fan in the world.
He was getting stale at the end.
And I think to think of now, like, yo, he has short hair. It's like, yo.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to look at him now with short hair. But yeah, this was a good match between Ray and Edge. Like, they always put on really good matches. Like, and this was a great one between them. I think Edge was more favored because, like, New York is a little bit more of a hardcore wrestling fan, especially the Garden. And, like, Ray, at that time, he was kind of getting booed more and more because, people loved Rey Mysterio, but what they hated was that he was kind of like, let's just be honest here, stealing off Eddie's legacy. And he was pretty much just being awarded because he was like, oh, you're the only Mexican that's marketable. Like, pretty much you're in the main event scene because you're selling masks. Like, that was like the reason why a lot of people, didn't like Rey Mysterio main eventing pay-per-views. And around that time, Ray was main eventing a lot of pay-per-views. It wasn't like this was like a rare occurrence of an underdog storyline, like, oh, Ray got the world title shot. Like, no, he was like facing Khali in the main event of pay-per-view. So it was kind of getting to the point where it was kind of unbelievable to have Rey Mysterio main event this much.
Yeah.
Like, Ray's one of the best of all time, like one of the best workers of all time, one of the most exciting wrestlers of all time. You can't just force him in the main event scene to make it feel like it's a big deal. So, but this was a great match, great storytelling with Vicky Guerrero. I enjoyed it.
Indeed. After this, we had Randy Orton versus Jeff Hardy. Indeed, it was. And I like the fact that they played a video package before the match. Think about it at the time, too. Jeff Hardy was the Intercontinental Champion. It comes to show you that back in the day, the IC title meant something, to think where it's at today. Before this match, they played a video package telling Jeff Hardy's story. It kind of gave you the belief that, yeah, Jeff Hardy's going to win the belt.
Yeah, anytime they make a video package like that for someone that's based on a show that's not WrestleMania, I always call that a Rooftops Jeff Hardy package, because the Jeff Hardy Rooftops package, because they're trying to make you believe that this guy's going to win the championship, even though we know he isn't, or he's going to get screwed out of it somehow. Yeah. But this was just an overall fun match between Orton and Hardy. I wish we got to see more of these guys actually work. Like, I believe besides a couple of Raws here or there, they never really worked that much. And this was actually really good stuff. This was actually a fresh opponent for Randy Orton, for fuck's sakes, because back then, Orton was facing, like, Shawn, Jericho, Triple H. Like, how many times do I have to see him face these people? And then here comes Jeff Hardy, Hell of Storm, and they put on this really great match that's fun to watch. Sick finish with the Twist of Fate reverse to the RKO. And it made Jeff like $1 million because it was like, he was going in there and he was trying his best to beat the champion Randy Orton, who at the time was like a long reigning champion for the WWE. So they did a good job with this match. Like, I really like this match a lot. It's definitely one that I suggest if you don't want to sit through the whole pay-per-view, at least do yourself this, watch Orton versus Jeff Hardy again. You'll appreciate that you watched that match.
On the WWE Network, guys, for $9.99. No commitment. Yeah. No commitment. And then we had the main event, the Rumble match. I like this because, number one, you had Michael Buffer.
Oh yeah.
Starting this whole thing off. Let's get ready to rumble. Mark out moment for me. The Garden. And I'm looking at the list of guys who are in this match. It's amazing to see that half of these guys are no longer there. Either they got released or they're dead. Yeah. I'm gonna run through this list real quick. I know, Chase, you have to go somewhere. We're gonna wrap this up a little bit. All right. Here we go. Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Santino Marella, Great Khali is gone, Hardcore Holly's gone, John Morrison is now Johnny Mundo in Lucha Underground, Tommy Dreamer, House of Hardcore, but Batista's now doing movies. Hornswoggle is somewhere under the ring. Chuck Palumbo.
What happened, Chuck?
Jamie will remember me. Oh, wait, was this the Rumble where Palumbo and Jamie Noble? Yeah, this was where they were feuding, huh?
Yeah, Noble lasted 28 seconds, CM Punk is now an MMA fighter. Cody Rhodes is still there. Umaga, rest in peace. Snitsky's gone. Cody Rhodes still in WWE. Oh, Stardust, my bad. Stardust.
No, because the Cody Rhodes I know wouldn't dress up and do, like, stupid twerking before he gets to the ring.
Okay. Umaga, rest in peace. Snitsky's gone. The Miz is still there. Shelton Benjamin is gone. New Japan. Jimmy Snuka, mark out moment.
Oh, yeah, and then Piper came out. Oh my god.
Yeah, indeed. It's a part of this match.
One of the best Rumble moments.
Where everyone's froze, right? And you see CM Punk just sitting there in the corner, just laughing his ass off, like, yo, this is how you know when kayfabe was broken. But, you know, just to run through this list real quick. Kane, still there. Carlito, gone. Foley, somewhere. Kennedy's in TNA. Mr. Anderson. Big Daddy V, rest in peace. Mark Henry, still there. Chavo Lucha Underground. Finley's working with the Divas. Elijah Burke is gone. And obviously Triple H and Cena, you know. But again, the final four was Batista, Triple H, John Cena, and I believe as well as
Kane. Yeah, Kane wasn't there. Batista eliminated. They gave Kane to Batista. They were like, yeah, Batista, you get an elimination near the end.
Yeah.
But I want to say what I loved about this Rumble was that 1 and 2 were the last two of last year's Rumble. Like Royal Rumble 2007 ended with Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. And it began with Undertaker, Shawn Michaels. And you can argue, like, this was, like, kind of like the hinting of doing Michaels and Taker at 25 a year afterwards. Because, like, Michaels eliminated Taker. And then when Michaels got eliminated, it was like Taker was staring down Michaels and Michaels was all afraid. And then he took out his anger, I think, on, like, Big Daddy D, right? Or Snitsky. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, he does a leg drop on the table and this table breaks a little bit, but yeah, I mean, again, this Rumble had to be one of the best Rumbles one of the best Rumble matches in years. And one thing about me, when I watch the Rumble, I like it when Rumble matches are like this. You know, there are 10 guys in the ring, and then it becomes to 12 guys, then 3 guys get eliminated, and then 4 more guys come in. That's what I hate these Rumble matches. Like 02 is an example. It had like 3 guys in the ring, and then you had 2 guys, then 4 guys, and then back to 3 guys. You know what I mean? I hate those kind of
Rumble matches. Just like 3 guys trying to do everything. Yeah. I hate those type of Rumble matches too. But this Rumble has one of the better moments, like John Cena coming back out of nowhere. When the rumors around that time was that the Big Show was number 30 of this Rumble. Like, I shit you not. Like, if anyone could find me an article, that'd be amazing. But I still have to this day not seen an article of saying John Cena was backstage at that Royal Rumble. I remember before, when I read the dirt sheets before I watched this pay-per-view, it was saying Big Show was going to be number 30. And at first and afterwards, they kind of backed it off and said Big Show was not backstage. So I said, oh shit, who's going to be number 30? And I thought it was going to be Triple H. But when Triple H came out at 29, I was like, oh, who's 30 then? And then when John Cena's music hit, and keep in mind, people, Cena had like, a pectoral tear. And he wasn't supposed to be back until like summer or fall of that year. And he came back, and that was like one of the most badass moments I've ever seen. That was like one of the moments that made me a John Cena fan again, kind of. Where it was like, that's why I like you, Cena, because you're fucking awesome for doing that. When he came out, arms crossed.
That's when Cena was still being liked, though.
No,
they were Cena was still being liked, though. Nah, but not that much, though. Not that much.
No, it was a surprise. You know? That's why when he came.
Exactly. You know,
no one does that.
And it was down to Triple H and Cena. Now Cena got the win. And then after that, he decided to have his title match at No Way Out.
Oh my God!
That was then
no,
then
Chamber.
we had the Breakfast Club main event.
Hold on. Was that? And No Way Out was no longer around, right? It was eliminated.
No, it was still No Way Out. That was the same No Way Out that Big Show returned and Mayweather punched him in the face.
Oh, yeah, that is true. But again, that was Rumble 08. Again, we'll do this every week now. If there's any pay-per-view you want us to recap, let us know on Twitter at TEAMHEEL Podcast, or if not, simply leave us an email at TEAMHEELGutcheckPodcast3@gmail.com, and we'll see what we can do here, guys. But again, you know, it's content we're going to do every week now. The retro pay-per-view reviews, and we'll see what we get here, you know. This wraps up this week's podcast. We thank you all for tuning in, as always, whether it be here on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, the TEAMHEEL Podcast YouTube channel, or on the Talking Wrestling Network YouTube channel, or if not, on ShoutEngine. You can download it, whether it be on your phones, your tablets, your laptops. Spread the word about us, you know. Again, we're making moves here. We're going to get better every time, every week. You can follow this podcast on Twitter at TEAMHEEL Podcast. You can follow me on Twitter at HEELSTEVEN. Check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/HEELSTEVEN. And yeah. Also our podcast channel, like I said earlier, TEAMHEEL Podcast.
What about the Facebook page?
Also our Facebook page, facebook.com/GutCheckPodcast.
Yeah. I'm Knowledge of Wrestling. You can follow me on Twitter at HamWalter and subscribe to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/KnowledgeWrestling.
And you guys can find me on Twitter at ChaseOliver68 and my YouTube channel, youtube.com/ChaseOliver.
Once again, Chase, happy birthday. Hope have a fun night tonight. And to quote our good friend, the PW Outsider, when in doubt, when you're down in the dumps, just remember, masturbation